So I recently decided to swap out my 10-year-old membrane keyboard and pick up a new mechanical board. This one is the Leopold FC750R and it's in white. I chose the Cherry MX Red as my first switch type because I wasn't really sure which switch was the best for me. Since I use this mostly for gaming, I had heard that the red switches were the best, so I went with those. But I'll talk about the switches in a second. So this board comes with a few accessories, a few extra keycaps, the USB cable, PS2 to or USB to PS2 adapter, and a key puller. The keycaps are PBT, which are thicker and have some more texture than ABS, and they are also front printed, as you can see. The other feature of this board worth mentioning is the sound absorbing pad, and this helps make the board quieter and reduces the metallic ping sound that you might hear when the switches return to their starting position. There's definitely no noticeable pinging on this board. I used it for a couple days and definitely couldn't hear anything like that. There are no dip switches, but there are media keys. So these are easily missed because they're not printed on the keys. But if you check the manual online, you'll find there are your standard play, pause, forward, backward, mute, media keys. There's also some keys for repeat rate and end key rollover, which I will never use, but they're there if you need them. The manual in the box is actually in Korean, so I wasn't able to figure this out until I went online. So this is my first ever mechanical board, so I wasn't really sure what to expect from it. The board itself is very solidly built and quite heavy. The thick PBT caps feel great as well, I gotta say. I like this board a lot, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone looking for a 10 keyless who doesn't really care about lighting effects or any fancy features. One side note, the only LEDs that are present on this board are the scroll lock indicator and the caps lock indicator, and those light up in blue and are actually pretty bright, which the blue color I'm not a huge fan of. I would have preferred white, but it's a pretty small detail. As far as the switches are concerned, this kind of applies to all keyboards, not necessarily this one, but I'd gotten a key tester and I decided I wanted to go with reds. But after using the board for a few hours, I noticed I kept misclicking. This is purely the switch itself. The red switches are just too light for me. And because they are linear, I wasn't able to tell when the actuation point hit. So I kept misclicking like nonstop, and it was really annoying. I'm sure I could have gotten used to it after a while, but I felt like for the money I spent, I really wanted to be happy with my purchase. This is also a really small thing, but I just found that I didn't really like the white color as much in person. And the front printed keys made it a little bit harder for me to get used to the board. I kept hunting around for the right key. I'm not the best typist, I will be honest, but I found that I really wanted a top printed key. So like I said, these are very minor things. I could have been solved after using the board for a while, but I decided that ultimately I wanted to try a heavier switch, and so that for that reason I'm going to be sending this board back. But for anyone who knows that they really do like the Cherry Reds and who doesn't really need any fancy features, they really like the PBT caps, and for the price, I think this board is a pretty good deal. So I'm going to give you a quick sound check. Make sure I don't drop my camera. So there you have it. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and if you're interested, I'm going to be putting up another video pretty soon of the next board that I bought, which is the WASD code, and I'm going to compare a little bit between those two. So thanks for checking in.